Once upon a time, there was a king so powerful that he conquered nations, razed cities, and built an empire that defied the world and God himself. His name was Nebuchadnezzar. He ruled Babylon with an iron fist, witnessed terrifying prophecies come true, and, in his arrogance, challenged the Most High, only to be humiliated in the most astonishing way ever told. This is the story of a king who had it all and lost it in an instant. It is the story of glory, pride, downfall, and redemption. And today, you are going to discover it like never before. Before we begin, tell me in the comments, do you think absolute power always corrupts? Or is there hope for those who fall into their own greatness? Leave me your opinion as we dive into this incredible story. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and activate the notification bell so you don't miss more epic Bible stories. Give this video a like if you enjoy impactful stories, because what you're about to see will surprise you. Babylon, a city that shone with the brilliance of gold and resonated with the voice of ambition. At its peak, a man emerged as the most powerful ruler of his time, Nebuchadnezzar II. Son of King Nabopolassar, he inherited a rising empire, but his thirst for glory would lead him to carve his name in history with fire and blood. From a young age, he proved to be a formidable strategist, a visionary who not only consolidated the power of Babylon, but expanded it like never before. Each victory bolstered his confidence, and his gaze fell upon Judah, a small but rebellious kingdom that defied his authority. Nebuchadnezzar marched with his invincible army, besieging Jerusalem in the year 605 BC. It was the first warning. He took hostages, took the best of the people, including a young Hebrew named Daniel. But Judah did not learn. Years later, the insurrection resurfaced. Furious at the disobedience, Nebuchadnezzar returned with fierce determination. This time, in 586 BC, there would be no mercy. Babylon fell upon Jerusalem like an unstoppable storm. Their walls were torn down, their houses looted, and the most sacred of all, the majestic Temple of Solomon, was reduced to burning rubble. The survivors were chained and dragged to Babylon. Among them, Daniel and other young nobles, who would soon witness the king's power, but also the divine plans that awaited him. Babylon shone brightly, but the true conflict was just beginning. The imposing king of Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar, ruled with absolute authority. However, one night his peace was interrupted by a troubling dream. In his vision, a gigantic statue rose majestically, with a head of gold, a chest and arms of silver, a belly of bronze, legs of iron, and feet of iron mixed with clay. Suddenly, a rock detached, without human hand, struck the feet of the statue, toppling it and reducing it to dust. Desperate to know the meaning of his dream, the king summoned all the wise men, astrologers, and magicians of his kingdom. But none could reveal to him either the content or the interpretation. Furious, he ordered the death of all the wise men, including Daniel and his friends. But Daniel, with the wisdom given to him by the God of heaven, asked for time and prayed fervently. That very night, the mystery was revealed to him. The next day, Daniel presented himself before the king and, with courage, declared that his dream was a divine prophecy about the fate of the empires of the earth. "You, O king, are the head of gold," he announced, revealing that Babylon was the first and most glorious of the kingdoms. But after him, other empires would come, each inferior to the previous one: the silver one, the Medes and Persians; the bronze one, Greece; and the iron one, Rome, which would be strong but divided. Finally, the rock that destroyed the statue represented the eternal kingdom of God, which would annihilate all human kingdoms and remain forever. Nebuchadnezzar, astonished and overwhelmed, fell on his face before Daniel and acknowledged the greatness of the God of heaven, who reveals mysteries. However, his heart was still full of pride, and he was not ready to surrender completely. Although he recognized the power of God, deep down he still believed himself invincible, preparing to challenge the prophecy in an unexpected way. Nebuchadnezzar, in an attempt to reaffirm his authority and challenge the message of the dream, ordered the construction of a colossal statue of gold, imposing and majestic. With a height of almost 30 meters, it stood as a challenge to the divine prophecy. He ordered that all the inhabitants of his kingdom, without exception, bow down and worship the statue when the music played. However, 3 young Hebrews, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, refused to bow down to the image. No matter how great the pressure, their faith in the true God was unshakable. When the king learned of their defiance, furious, he gave them one last chance. If they did not bow down, they would be thrown into a blazing furnace. But they answered firmly, "Our God can deliver us, but even if he does not, we will not serve your gods nor worship the statue." The king's anger overflowed. He ordered that the furnace be heated 7 times hotter and that the 3 be thrown inside. But something astonishing happened. In the midst of the fire, a 4th figure appeared with a celestial appearance. The 3 young men did not suffer a single burn. Upon seeing this, Nebuchadnezzar acknowledged the power of the God of Israel, although his heart was not yet fully humbled. Soon, God would give him another lesson, this time directed specifically at him. The days passed, and the king, in his arrogance, felt invincible. But one night, God sent him another unsettling dream. In his vision, he saw an immense tree reaching the sky, with branches that provided shade and fruit for all living beings. But suddenly, a heavenly watcher descended from the sky and proclaimed, "Cut down the tree, cut off its branches, but leave the stump and its roots bound with iron and bronze. Let his heart be changed to that of a beast, and let him live among the animals of the field for 7 times." The king, disturbed, called Daniel again to interpret the vision. Daniel, with sorrow, revealed the terrible truth. The tree represented Nebuchadnezzar himself. His kingdom would be taken from him, and he would live like a beast until he acknowledged that only God has true dominion over the kingdoms of the earth. Despite the warning, Nebuchadnezzar did not humble himself. 12 months later, while walking on the roof of his majestic palace, he arrogantly proclaimed, "Is not this the great Babylon that I have built for the royal dwelling by my mighty power and for the glory of my majesty?" At that moment, a voice from heaven declared his sentence. Having lost his sanity, he was expelled from his throne and wandered the fields, living like an animal for 7 years. His pride had condemned him. After 7 long years of humiliation, living like a beast, something astonishing happened. One day, Nebuchadnezzar, with his body exposed to the elements and his mind deteriorated, lifted his eyes to the sky. At that moment, his reason was restored to him, and with a clarity he had never had before, he proclaimed, "Now I, Nebuchadnezzar, praise, exalt, and glorify the King of heaven, because all his works are true and his ways just. He can humble those who walk with pride." His kingdom was restored to him, and with it, a greater glory than before. But Nebuchadnezzar was no longer the same. He was no longer the haughty monarch who had believed himself a god. Now he was a transformed man who recognized the absolute dominion of the Most High. His story became an eternal warning. Pride leads to downfall, but humility can pave the way to redemption. His testimony was recorded in history, not only as the tale of a powerful king, but as a lesson on the power of humility and the sovereignty of God over all the kingdoms of the earth. Thus ended the story of Nebuchadnezzar, a man who ascended to the pinnacle of power, challenged the God of the universe, and paid the price of his pride. But it is also the story of a second chance, of redemption, and of recognizing the true authority, that of the Most High. If a king who had it all and lost it in an instant could be restored, how much more can we learn from his story? How many times has pride led us to our downfall? What does this tell us about true power and humility? Tell me in the comments. What lesson did this story leave you with? Do you think humanity keeps repeating the same mistakes as Nebuchadnezzar? I want to read your opinion. If you like this video, give it a like and share it so more people can know this story. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Join our community and activate the notification bell, because here we will continue telling the most epic stories of the Bible. Thank you for watching until the end. And remember, human glory is fleeting, but the kingdom of God is eternal. God bless you.